What do we want?
Coastal Protection Act!
When do we want it?
Now!
Houston, we have a problem. Only you can solve it.
What do we want?
Coastal Protection Act!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Coastal Protection Act!
We want it!
But what I learned
In February, the government abandoned the Coastal Protection Act, yet here we are in May, still talking about it. Why? Because it matters to Nova Scotia.
Where's this headed, eh? Climate change is upon us. We need to act quickly to protect Nova Scotia, as Maggie said, and to protect Nova Scotians and slow the rise of these extremes while the land subsides and the sea levels rise and coastal developments slip into the sea. We voters elect the political folks, and that empowers them. Then a flood of lobbyists for industries and developers descend upon them like maggots to a carcass to see what they can pick out of the province with sometimes outrageous promises. The culture is dominated by power and greed. The provincial Conservatives have dismissed the Coastal Protection Act that all parties agreed to pass. So I ask, whoever could be behind this irresponsible deed? Some rich developers have quietly bought up coastal properties for years. I want to thank you all for your environmental awareness. That's why you're here today. Together, we can force change. I admire Mr. Houston for having the guts to publicly change his mind over several important issues recently.
Yeah!
If some individuals or corporations would benefit from it, would he decide that Canada's Nova Scotians only need guidelines for driving our highways? That's sort of what he's done with the Coastal Protection Act. It's a clear violation of public and political trust. And if he doesn't change his mind, we'll all be voting in the next provincial election.
Yeah!
Thank you.
Agent Houston, what do you say?
Agent Houston, what do you say?
Proclaim the act, get it done today.
Proclaim the act, get it done today.
You're good, you guys are good.
We can do better in Nova Scotia. We have to. This is a matter, I think, of great importance for people's personal safety. We can't have people building in areas that can be subject to storm surge, flood, all these risks that climate change is creating. This is about protecting people's lives, it's about protecting our environment, and from a government perspective, it's also about making sure that we deal with the liability that's coming our way in advance. We know climate change is going to bring more and more extreme weather events. We all remember last year. We've all seen Port Bass and the images of that house being swept into the ocean. And we know that it's going to take more than a phone app here in Nova Scotia to protect people, to protect our environment, to protect coastlines. It's going to take laws that are robust, laws that have teeth, and that come with the appropriate regulation.
Here you go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, the Coastal Act's the way to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, the Coastal Act's the way to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, the Coastal Act's the way to go. Hey, hey.
I know that there are people here from Pictou County.
Yeah!
And there are people here from the South Shore.
Yeah!
And there are people here from Yarmouth.
Yeah!
And we know that there are people here from the North Shore. And there are people here from Cape Breton. And I'm going to reiterate what you've heard today. The way to change this is political pressure. We have to let this premier and this government know that the voices of all Nova Scotians are more important than the voices of a few wealthy coastal property owners.
Just a dose of reality. Perhaps Timmy can pay attention. The climate is warming. The world's great ice sheets are melting, and the water is rising. This is not a speculative idea or the hypothesis of a few wacky scientists. Sea level rise is one of the central facts of our time.
Hey, hey, ho, ho, the Coastal Act's the way to go. Hey, hey.